here. I'm gonna do some makeup for you today. I am gonna kick it old school, and I'm just gonna do a really nice, soft, pretty 90s drag look, but that doesn't read as drag. In the 90s, I feel like there was this movement, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, where drag was really just about looking like a pretty girl, and I was front and center for that movement, and I loved it. It's obviously going to be supermodels inspired because everything that I do, especially 90s, is going to be supermodel inspired, but it's not necessarily a supermodel look. I think this is something that you could use. It's just a versatile look. So we're going to get right into it, and you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to use some colors that were used on me the very first time I got my makeup done by MAC. And the first eyeshadow I ever bought was the eyeshadow that they used, which is Amber Lights. And I don't see it a lot, but it's just this really cool bronzy gold color right here. And it's just really impactful and beautiful. So we're going to use that. I don't have any foundation on today because I thought I would just do the whole thing from start to finish, because 90s makeup wasn't as heavy into the contouring, and we did a lot more powder contouring. Later in like the mid 2000s to late 2000s, we saw a lot more foundation and like the Kryolan TV paint sticks for cream contouring underneath the powder contouring. And I love it, and I do it, but this is just about a soft, nice, pretty look. I want to really smooth photo finish perfect. So let's get right into it. I do have my face tapes on. Oh, and I got these new face tapes. So if you guys go back to my old face tape video, and you'll see that I had these guys right here. And I won't take too much time talking about stuff that's not makeup because shit or get off the pot, right? But I think this is important because I used to use these guys, and then you had the little bungee cords, right, that you would attach through these. Too much work. So I did some digging around, and I found these new ones that I absolutely love, and they're pre-done. There's no extra bungee that you need for them. And they come, there's face ones and neck ones, and I have both on. I have my face one on right here, and then I've got the neck one on right here, and it just sort of lifts and pulls everything back and gives the face a more feminine appearance. So they look like this, and they're so cool, and they're so easy to do. I don't have to spend as much time threading the little bungee cords through the face tapes. I am still using the Walker Tape Extreme Hold. I put a little bit on the tape itself, and then I put a little bit on my skin where I'm going to be applying it. So there's like a double stick. There's the adhesive adheres to the adhesive better than the adhesive adheres to your skin. And I also prep by wiping the area with a little bit of alcohol just to dehydrate the skin and make sure there's no moisturizer or anything like that that's going to lessen the hold of the tapes. I do have some moisturizer on, and then we're going to go right in with some primer and strobe cream. I'm first going to be starting with the SmashBox Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer. And I'm using the Real Techniques 101 brush. And I'm just going to load that up, and I'm just going to put that on all over. Now, this is not a 90s thing, but I'm going to do it anyway because as much as I love the 90s, we're not in the 90s anymore. So let's be inspired by it, but not live in it. A little bit of strobe cream, just for some illumination. There was not a lot of highlighting going on in the 90s. A little bit, but not a whole lot. I'm still going to use the Real Techniques 101 brush for this. I'm just going to load that up into the brush. And that's why I love this brush. I don't know if you guys can see this, the angle of it. And it like picks up all the product off my hand, and then it evenly distributes it across my face. So I love this. Now with the strobe cream, I don't like to go into the areas where I contour, because with contour, we're creating shadows. So you don't want to put your strobe cream where you want shadow. You only want to put it where you want illumination, where you would have a little bit of a natural highlight. This is the Kryolan TV Paint Stick in 6W. And then I am going to work that in with the Real Techniques 200 brush. All right, moving on to concealer, Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer in SX01, the Real Techniques Expert Concealer Brush. And I'm going to take some of the concealer on my brush, and then I'm going to put that on the back of my hand. So concealer to me is a little bit thicker, and I like using my hand as a palette because my body heat helps to warm up the product, and that makes it move on top of the skin a little easier, which I think is important when you're working over a foundation you've already put down, because you don't want to be shifting the foundation underneath the concealer because you're trying too hard to drag the concealer across your skin. So I've got it loaded up on my brush, and I'm really just working around the eyes today, and I'm using my concealer as an eyeshadow primer. And then I'm going to take a little bit more and just work that onto the cheekbone. And going back in with the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, 200. And we're just going to buff that in to blend it into the foundation. MAC Invisible Powder. This is the pro size, I think, which is 1 ounce. It's a whole ounce. I like the pro size. You can order it online, or you have to go to, I don't even know, do they still have pro shops? I don't know. Anywho, I'm using the Real Techniques Miracle Powder Sponge with the MAC Invisible Powder, which is a true translucent powder. There's zero pigment, zero tone to this powder. It goes on really white, but it dries down translucent, so it doesn't change the undertone of your makeup. And it also photographs better, because when your makeup has tone to it, it will push back and reflect that, and that's when you get ghost face in pictures. So if it says translucent, but then it says like peach translucent powder or tan translucent powder, that indicates that there's color to it and it's not a true translucent powder. I prefer to work with invisible because I create my tone with my makeup and then I just need to set it. So we're going to do that right now. You know you're a drag queen when you go to powder your face and you find a little star sequin in your powder. So now that I've powdered, and you'll notice that I don't swipe the powder, I press the powder into the makeup to set it. And then I'm going to take my big fluffy Real Techniques powder brush, and I'm going to dust off all this excess powder. And now it's time for contour. I'm going in with the MAC blush in Taupe, Real Techniques Rebel Edge brush. This is the 203 Rebel Edge Broad. And I'm going to load that up with a decent amount of the Taupe, because the Taupe is not a super dark contour color. It's not like blunt. So you can be, it's a little bit more forgiving, I think. Let's do a little bit of highlighting. And to start with, I'm not going to do a super glittery highlight. I'm going to use the, this is the MAC Studio Fix in Shivering White. And I'm using that with the Real Techniques 402 setting brush. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that under the eyes and on the cheekbone where I want a little bit more of a natural looking highlight. Let's go ahead and lay down a little protective layer of powder underneath the eyes so we can go ahead and do the eyes. For the eyes, I'm going to go in with the Real Techniques 200 brush. This is from the Bold Metals collection. And we're going to go right into that Amber Lights color. And then we'll also put a little bit underneath the eye. MAC Corduroy, which is this color right here. It's just sort of a neutral medium brown. And I'm using the Real Techniques Crease Prep brush. I do have face tape on, but I'm also going just a little bit higher than my natural crease to kind of lift and open the eye up more. I want to take more of that corduroy, same brush, and let's just tap that on the outside corner. Now we're going to highlight the brow bone. Another Bold Metals 200 brush. Nylon, MAC Nylon for my highlight. I'm sorry, not nylon, rice paper. And that's just going to go right on the brow bone. But it's just kind of from like arch to edge of eye. I'm not going in on the inside of the eye. I'm just going to take my large powder brush again and just kind of sweep over the eye. MAC Eye Kohl pencil in Smolder. Get my trusty handy dandy Urban Decay pencil sharpener, which has never failed me. I mean, perfect every single time. Thank you, Urban Decay. We're going to start by doing the secret liner, which is lining the inside or the lash bed and then setting it with powder. And let's go ahead and do the inside waterline on the lower lash bed. I also feel that when you do the waterline in black, you create a really sultry, hyper feminine look to the eye. And that's what we're going for today. Really just soft, pretty feminine look. Pretty girl. Fish. Going for that fish look today. Now we're going to set it. So I'm using my Real Techniques 317 angle brush, and I'm going in with MAC Carbon, which is their black. And I'm going to press that into the upper lash bed to set the pencil so that it doesn't go anywhere. Brown Down by MAC. And then I'm going to follow up with Carbon. And I've also have that, the Amber Lights down there. So it's just going to be a really soft graduation of color on the bottom lid. Not super, super dramatic. And of course, Linda very rarely did anything under the eyes. And I just always loved that look. I mean, Linda was the first supermodel that I actually noticed that made me say, what is this? Who is this person? Why is she in this magazine? And that was my introduction to not just supermodels, but the modeling world. And I was just immediately enamored of all of it. So I don't say that Linda's my favorite because I don't think that that's fair, but Linda was my introduction to the world of supermodels. So thank you. Linda. Now we're going in with the MAC Carbon, and I'm just going to kind of tap that on top of the brown down. And I'm not going on the inside corner of the eye because I don't want to close the eye off completely. Let's go in with our crease prep brush and just kind of buff that out a little bit. Stila Stay All Day Liquid Eyeliner. Waterproof liquid eyeliner. What I want to do is reinforce the contour a little bit. And now that I have my liquid liner on, I can use that as sort of a starting point for where that's going to begin. So I'm going back in with my Real Techniques 317 brush. And this is the smudge liner brush is also what it's called. And I'm going back in with the Carbon. Lip smudge brush, which is actually a brush with bristles, but I like this brush because it reminds me of the old MAC, I think it was the 217, and it was like their contour brush, but I like this because it really gets into the crease and helps to blend the colors together while still maintaining a little bit of impact so that you're not over blending. And we can go ahead and clear this powder off too underneath the eye. Handy dandy Shu Uemura eyelash curler. MAC Extended Play Gigablack Lash Mascara. I put it at the base and sort of drop my eyelid on it, and I wiggle it and then I swoop out. Because what you want to do is you want most of the color to be loaded up at the base of the lashes. You don't want clumps on the end of your lashes. Some custom lashes that I have with my Duo Eyelash Adhesive. And this isn't smack talking. This is supposed to be like educational. I use eyelash adhesive, and I know that there are a lot of drag queens out there that use weave bonding glue. Weave bonding glue, and this is coming from a professional hairdresser of 20 years. Weave bonding glue is meant to go on the scalp. And I know that the reason why it's used for eyelashes is because it's instant adhesion, but it's not meant to go anywhere near the eyes. So if you choose to use that, and by that I mean the weave bond instead of eyelash glue, know that you're doing it at your own risk. And for me personally, as glamorous as I like to look, nothing's worth my eyesight. So I'm just putting that out there. While I'm waiting for that to get tacky, let's go ahead and finish the blush and the highlighter. See, yeah, it takes a while to set up, but that doesn't mean that you've got to sit there and do nothing for the 5 minutes that it takes to set up. Right? MAC Mineralize blush in Gleeful. They don't make this one anymore, but I love it. I've still got it. It's just a slightly iridescent pinky mauve color, and I just find it really flattering for my skin tone. So I'm going to load that up on the Real Techniques 400 blush brush, and that's just going to concentrate on the apples of the cheeks and then a little bit up the cheekbone. Jeffree Star Cosmetics Skin Frost in Uranus, and I am using the Real Techniques 403 Rebel Edge brush in medium. So again, powder brush, just blend everything out. And then we're going to go in with a coat of mascara on top of the false lashes. Moving on to brows, Urban Decay Brow Blade in, let's see, this one is Brunette Betty. Here's a little trick. You guys can't see this off camera, but I'm gonna share it with you. I know I like speed through it. I actually anchor my arm and my hand with my other hand. So like on this side, I was kind of doing it kind of like here, and then here, I hold it so that I'm not so, it's anchored. So I got a little bit more control. That was the pencil. So now we're gonna go in with the little, the felt tip ink stain and just do the little tiny hair strokes. And to make those show up, you'll notice that I didn't take the pencil all the way on the inside. Now, I know this is a really popular current ombre look, but we're not going for that. But it's good because it kind of mimics the way that natural brow hair grows. So it's a little bit sparser on the inside, and then it gets a little bit thicker towards the tail. So what I'm going to be doing for my lips then is the Sexy Lip Pencil, followed up with Callback Liquid Lipstick or Lip Paint, which is their long wear lipstick, which is amazing. It truly is long wear. I wore it at Fashion Week and it lasted 9 hours, no joke. So it's amazing. And then on top of that, I'm going to use the Runway Red Lip Gloss. So we've got the red base, the red brown lip stain, and then we've got the red gloss on top of that. And just so that you guys know, it's not the pencil, right? It truly is the sharpener. So first I sharpened a MAC pencil, and then here's the Runway Rogue pencil. I mean, it's just perfect points every time. I love it. I don't know how to do it. And we're just going to go in and buff it and blur it. Now on to the lip paint. And this one is in Callback. Oh, and these lip paints, you guys, they smell amazing. It's like vanilla icing. Okay, and then with the liquid paint or liquid lipstick, lip paint, what you do, put it on, apply it, and then when you're happy with it, just let it set for a couple minutes. And then once it's dry, then you can touch it. You can, rub your lips together, put your gloss on. It'll be dried, it'll be sealed, it'll be good and ready to go. Runway Rogue lip gloss in Runway Red. And a lot of times what I do is I take my gloss and I put it on the back of my hand, and then I use the lip brush to apply it. But because this is lip paint, I don't have to worry about it coming off on my gloss brush and then contaminating my color. So I can just go right on top of it. Very 90s. MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus Spray. To get a really super natural finish with all this heavy makeup on, take your powder brush while the setting spray is still damp and tap. Lightly tap. Tap, 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 tap. And it pushes the setting spray into the makeup, giving you a much softer, natural, and luminous look to the skin. I'm going to go put some hair on, and then I'll do some after photos, which will be posted right after the video. You can also find it on Instagram. Don't forget to check me out there at Get to Know Me More. And also check out runwayroguebeauty.com for the lip care products. You can also find them on Instagram at runwayrogue. And please, if you can, like, subscribe, and follow. Thanks for spending this time with me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave those down below. And I will see you in my next video.